A beautiful good morning to you all. It's about 8 o'clock, I think, and oh, the Kelly kettle is coming to the boil again. So I'm going to just hold on a moment, because I'm boiling this water to put into my flask, because you see I've made my coffee. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave you there just for a moment. And I'll just pour this water into my flask. I'll be back in a tick. Now here we go. There's my big flask filled up with boiling water. The Kelly kettle is just fab. I love it. It's become one of my best friends here. And last night, as the moon was rising, yes, it was very late when I went to bed, because I stayed up to see the moon rise through a very, very misty sky. But it just seemed to sort of illuminate the sky. I didn't actually see it, but the beautiful incandescent illumination just filled the sky, so it was very light. But I came out here and I lit the Kelly kettle, and within inside a few minutes I had boiling water enough to fill my hot water bottle, which I popped into my bed. And then I filled the kettle again and boiled it another few minutes later. And I made a great big flask of mint tea, which was just gorgeous. I put a mix of spearmint, which I collect from the garden here and dry, green tea, which my friend Simon brought for me, which I love. Thank you so much, Simon. I love that tea. And pluckley tea, which another friend has sent me from Pluckley in England. So thank you for that. Now, I was thinking this morning as I did my little meditation. By the way, this morning it was round by the goddess, round by Sophia. So we'll just go round and visit Sophia while I tell you about this. I may stop now and then for a little drink of my coffee. Oh look, you see, pruning the buddleia has done it immense good. Look at the new growth. And of course this is where the flowers come. They come on the new growth. So that's wonderful. Look at that. Very vigorous. So, yesterday after I left you, I put some plants in little pots around Sophia, and then this morning I put that lovely crystal globe on top. And I love the idea of some plants up there as well, especially ivy coming down around her. But of course, her beautiful image will be embellished I think on a daily basis. And my brother Cormac brought me these lovely stones, which he brought from the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. So they have just been laid in front of her in a little, almost a half circle, almost a moon, not quite. Because as I stood back and looked, of course you've got all this beautiful aquilegia coming up. And it seems to be coming up in such a natural way. Anyway, I'm off dreaming again. I've got to stop myself. I go into little meditations and sometimes I'm trapped in there and I don't even know how long I've stayed silent. So I must just keep mindful of what it is I'm doing. Yes, so quite a few of you have asked me, is it possible, first of all, to get seeds from Bealtaine Cottage? Because years ago I sold seeds before I started writing. And I will be saving seeds this year, but I won't be selling them. I'll be gifting them with books. Some of you as well have asked me, is it possible to get a little piece of blackthorn? Now, because I was talking about the blackthorn yesterday and I got a few emails last night, could I post some blackthorn? Well, on its own, no, because I don't want to go into that area of posting little bits and pieces, because it is time consuming, and you all know that my time is very limited and there's only one of me. But what I am happy to do is put pieces of blackthorn no longer than book size in with anyone who any books that are ordered. So there's 3 books up there, In Search of the Deep Midwinter. Sorry. In Search of the Goddess Rising, A Cottage in 3 Acres, and A Guide to the Deep Midwinter. Now, if you have a preference for any other piece of wood, because I've got hazel growing here. So these are the magical Celtic woods. Hazel, ash, rowan, blackthorn, hawthorn, elder. Now I've actually got some very old elder here. I'm just going to show you this. Traditionally, elder was planted on the north side of an Irish cottage to keep away evil, to keep away bad energy. This elder tree is planted on the north side. Can you see it? It's covered with beautiful moss, but look at all the new growth coming out in it. Each year there's lots and lots of elder which dies back and becomes lovely for picking. So you can see all those straight bits, they're almost like little wands. So elder or hazel, ash. Look at this ash, look how healthy the ash is here in my land. Look at the beautiful lichens growing all over it. Aren't they gorgeous? Blackthorn, which of course is in blossom now at this time of the year, and hawthorn. There are other woods as well, but they're not considered trees, but within the tradition they are. Now one of them is spindle. This is spindle here. But in terms of the trees, as I've said, see this one here is hazel. It's got this beautiful silvery bark, and William Butler Yeats, of course, wrote about the hazel. I went down to the hazel wood because a fire was in my head, and cut and peeled a hazel wand, and hooked a berry to a thread. And when white moths were on the wing, and moth-like stars were flickering out, I dropped the berry in a stream, and hooked a little silver trout. When I had laid it on the floor, I went to blow the fire aflame, but something rustled on the floor, and someone called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl with apple blossom in her hair, who called me by my name and ran and faded through the brightening air. Though I am old with wandering through hollow lands and hilly lands, I will find out where she has gone, and kiss her lips and take her hands, and walk among long dappled grass, and pluck till time and times are done, the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun. William Butler Yeats, of course, was into theosophy and the Golden Dawn, and he recognised the deep, deep spiritual elements within the Irish landscape. So I'm very much with William Butler Yeats on this, and of course all those artists and creators who gathered round him and who are still here today. The west of Ireland is full of art and creation, and it's a very magical place. Spen, who has come over from England to live here in the west of Ireland, who carved the goddess for me, was talking with him yesterday, and he said, I'm only here a short while, Colette, but I absolutely have fallen in love with west of Ireland. This is what happens. People fall in love with her, you see. This is one very sacred little place where the goddess has not had to leave the landscape and hide. She's here, she's been here all the time, and that is reflected very much in the superstitious nature of the people. People are very superstitious, and to this day they won't cut a fairy thorn growing in the middle of a field, regardless of how technologically advanced the farm is. They will leave that fairy thorn alone. So, of course, here I am. I'm rambling on. I'm rambling, and just this usual stream of consciousness that seems to hold me captive of a morning. Oh, coffee's lovely. I love the ritual of making my tea or my coffee in the morning, because when you're involved in ritual, you are looking forward to the next stage, and so I hold off making it, sometimes for up to an hour, just to sort of bathe in that anticipation. Now, I think it was Sherry who asked me yesterday about my other goddess, saying, hasn't seen her. Well, She's constantly in photographs, constantly in videos, constantly there. You don't have to look very far. There she is. So the weather hasn't diminished her. She's quite protected in that little space under the hawthorn tree. Jack! Don't know where he is. Oh, there he is there. Where were you, Jack? Huh? Where were you? You're having a little wander about. Show me where you were. There's a kind of solemnity to the morning. Sacredness. Do you know, I think that anyone who is fearful of the future, and of course we all know there's a huge amount of fear-mongering everywhere, should really spend a day here at Bealtaine Cottage, because there's so much life, there's so much hope, there's so much promise. And I absolutely love getting up in the morning now and lighting my little Kelly kettle, because you see that little twig down there, look, this little twig. That's the kind of little twig that you put into it. So it's just amazing. Oh, I think someone's down there doing something. So anyone who wants a piece of any one of the Celtic sacred trees from Bealtaine Cottage, I'm very happy to put a piece of your choice. Now it'll probably be about 6 inches long. It'll just enough to fit in the envelope, in with any book you may order. Please send me an email at the same time as you make the payment. So when you make the payment, send me a little email and tell me what piece of wood from Bealtaine Cottage you would like. So, on that note, I'm going to leave you with this lovely image of the forsythia there in the hedgerow, which is just so bright. And say blessings to you all.